So when are we going to start recording?
Like whenever. I mean, it's all G.
Yeah? Well, I'm excited to start talking about my week. And 2 weeks. Start talking about the 2 weeks. And, and the animes.
Yeah, I've got Pamela going. That's our recording thing. I know it's named Pamela. I don't know why.
That seems very futuristic to me. That it's called as like a girl's name. That seems like something that an 80s science fiction movie would do.
That's what my dad. He names his electronics after women.
It's because he loves old science fiction, I bet.
Yeah, that's entirely true.
Yeah.
But yeah, feel free to introduce the podcast, and we can get this rolling whenever you like.
All right. Hello out there, Kawaiians, which is what we call our fans, right? We call them Kawaiians.
No. I think I just call them stupid. No, I love my fans.
Yeah. Welcome to Why Is Shit So Kawaii?
Yeah.
With Max and Kit.
Why is shit so kawaii?
You know, we're going to answer that very question today, you and I together, Kit. Specifically in regards to a anime that recently finished up, or the first season recently finished up. It was reasonably popular. It is called No Game, No Life.
Yeah, I think after ping pong, we decided that we would choose something that was all fun and games.
It's true, because ping pong made me really depressed and like sad and like just hurls me into an existential crisis. Whereas No Game, No Life just makes me feel weird about the sexualization of a small girl.
Hey man, CisCon is a thing apparently.
Oh man, this was real popular. But anyway, yeah.
Otaku Wish Fulfillment, the anime? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to... But, you know, before we get into the anime, as seamless as that would have been, because we naturally did want to talk about it right there, the format of our show demands that we talk about our week. So I'm going to ask you first, Kit, what did you do this week?
Well, it was since we missed a week of podcast here. I mean, it's a sin, but we're just starting, so it's okay.
I know. I really think we have all the makings of a hit here.
Of course.
Our first episode was terrible.
We got a lot more views than I thought we would.
It's bizarre. It's super bizarre. And we missed, and we immediately switched to an erratic update schedule.
Yeah.
In fact, it was so immediate that induction is impossible as to what our actual update schedule is.
I think we're trying for weekly, but you know, like all good things, delivered on my own damn time.
It's true, but
you had a lot of computer trouble, but yeah, for the last 2 weeks, let's see, I hosted another person at my house for a couple days.
Oh yeah. I think
I hosted multiple people. My friend Eric left his bag of bones here. So Eric, if you're listening to this in Romania, you left your bones. Nothing more about that. That's a complete nonsense.
Yeah.
They're animal bones, I hope.
He's an anthropologist. They're almost certainly the remains of a human being.
Yeah, his current assignment is to dig up vampires in Transylvania. I shit you not. Like, vampire babies.
Fucking cool.
It's like they flew him out to Romania to go and, like, dig up stuff, like, where a bunch of, like, children were kept. So, vampire babies is almost certainly Transylvanian vampire. But anyway, so he stayed over, and then I had another friend stay over. And so exhausted with that, I kind of withdrew into this like shell, and I just played a lot of Risk of Rain, which is a very fun game.
Yeah, what is that roguelike exactly, or what?
Yeah, it's a procedurally generated roguelike platforming shooter.
Yeah, I saw stuff for that. It seemed okay. Yeah. I have not played it.
It's enjoyable. I've been trying to rope some friends into playing it online, and we can all play as different classes and stuff.
That's pretty cool. Grant was telling me about that, actually, that you were roping him into it.
Yeah, I bought it for Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Early birthday.
Whoa! You didn't buy it.
Yeah, that's how much I want to play this. But essentially, the cool thing about the game is it's got like a really nice, like kind of like minimalistic kind of sprite style. It works real well. Especially for like this, like you're on this alien planet, and wow, what the hell is that? It's a monster.
It's better to leave it to your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's super fun. The cool thing is that as you play the game, the difficulty gets harder and harder as the more time progresses. So you have to balance how much you're gonna like get all this loot from these levels with like trying to get to the last boss as fast as possible, so he's not just impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds neat. I should check it out. Perhaps over the course of the next week, and then I can tell you about my experiences with it, and we can have a richer conversation about it. Did you Kickstart it, Kit?
Sadly not. I didn't know about it while it was in its Kickstarter like stages.
Yeah. But so let me segue that into something about my week, because I've been playing a game I kickstarted, Shovel Knight.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
A lot of praise online right now about that.
Oh yeah. I think it's well deserved. It's just a really, really solid classic style platformer with some really. I mean, it's just smart. It's a smartly designed game. I think they got the difficulty just right. And you know how you can tell? Because half the reviews are bitching about how it's too easy, and half of them are bitching about how it's too hard.
Reminds me of something about Crash Bandicoot that I might get to later.
But yeah, I beat that game.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. I'm sorry.
Hey, go on.
Crash Bandicoot, yeah. I'm sorry I talked over you, Kit.
Oh, it's adorable. I've kind of had to like, it's strange because getting into like this teacher persona that I've had to adopt more and more often,
yeah.
I just have to kind of like roll with saying things at people.
Yeah.
And like kind of command this, I don't know, officer or whatever.
You have to command the attention of a room for extended periods of time.
Yeah. But like conversationally, that's the cutback, and it's a bit difficult to do that on Skype.
Yeah, it's true. There's no visual cues. I mean, we could
usually have towels.
I have like a camera. We could use.
We could.
But I'm naked, so.
As am I. As is everyone listening to this.
I assume.
If you're not, take your clothes off.
Yeah, who goes on the internet clothed? They don't make you put on clothes to go on the internet. Fans, Kawaii.
I learned that recently.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, Shovel Knight's just really good, really solidly designed. Jump feels good. It's the death mechanic I think is pretty good. I was one of the people who was probably too good at 2D platformers for it to be just right. But then the New Game Plus was pretty punishing. So yeah.
I'm a big fan of that kind of that genre, so I'm probably gonna pick it up. Although I watched somebody play a lot of old Mega Man the other day, and man, it's aged like spoiled milk. I remember cracking into it. But.
Yeah, it's true. I think Mega Man 2 is pretty well designed still. I feel like some of the other Mega Man games are tests of patience, almost.
Yeah, I was getting kind of upset because this player got into the Yellow Demon in 3 and was just farming E-Tanks in the stage before it. I was like, it's not that hard. Like, you just watch for the pixels and you dodge them.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Kids.
But yeah, talking about Crash Bandicoot, one of the other things I did this week and this was a significant undertaking, is there's and I might link this, is there's a making of Crash Bandicoot article that I stumbled upon.
That's awesome.
Not using the site stumbled upon.
Sure.
But I can never say that phrase now.
It's hard. It's hard on all of us. But continue.
Yeah, so I get this making of Crash Bandicoot, written by one of the co-founders of Naughty Dog.
Okay.
And he just talks, and it's 8 pages. Like, these pages are really long.
Yeah.
Like, 8 internet pages. I don't know how many words. Are at least dedicated just to him talking about what it took to make the game, and why it was, like, probably the best game made of its era. Like, I mean, obviously talking up his own stuff, but, you know, there are a lot of really good moments in it that really made me appreciate and, like, think, like, yeah, I did like Crash Bandicoot for those reasons. But, like, a lot of, like, really technical, like, just impressive feats, and, like, the rest, like, there's, like, several other pages where he just goes into detail about, like, the programming language he had to come up with to make the game.
I'm sure that's actually fairly interesting.
Yeah. No, it's super interesting. One of my favorite parts, though, is that so going into the release of Crash Bandicoot, because they're trying to make, like, this. Their original conception was, well, all these games are going to 3D.
Yeah.
If they went into an arcade, they're like, what arcade games are there? And then everything was 3D. Like, racing games were all 3D. There was, like, Virtua Fighter had just come out, and that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Even, like, there were, like, the shooting games in 3D. They're like, okay, we gotta make, you know, one of our favorite, like, game genres in 3D. Like, everything's doing in 3D.
Yeah.
And so they're like, why don't we make the, like, action platformer, like Donkey Kong, in 3D?
You know, it is very Donkey Kong, now that you say
it. It is super Donkey Kong.
Very Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, that's a major one of their influences, is Donkey Kong, the old Dinky.
I never really thought about it. I was never that big of a Bandicoot fan.
I love the second one to death. It's like one of the perfect games for me. I didn't expect to like it as much as I do.
Huh.
But, like, just playing it is a very fun experience and still holds up. And, like, I got to, like, kind of witness, I guess, through, like, this guy's article why that was the case. Because they put a lot of work into, like, making these very, like, just, like, fun segments and, like, this like, really delightful stuff. And, like, there are a lot of technical things that, like, I didn't think about, but reading about it, I'm like, that's neat. Like, they made Crash Bandicoot, they made him orange because... they wanted, like, a bright, like, memorable color, but, like, red would blur on too many TVs at the time. Yeah. And so they went with orange, and that's why there's no lava levels in the original Crash Bandicoot, apparently.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because you just gotta pop.
Yeah.
You just gotta pop, because you gotta see your character.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of the original designs for Crash Bandicoot were rejected because they were, like, too complex for the PlayStation 1's graphics. And they didn't want, like, something flickering in on certain frames. That's why he wears shorts instead of longer jeans.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And orange and blue, complementary colors.
Yeah. And then, like, the other neat thing was they went with black gloves so that you could always tell what way you were facing. Because, like, you could see the black tracking across the orange of his body as he ran.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's so fucking smart.
That is smart.
So smart. And he has a lighter spot on his chest, so whenever he's facing you, you can immediately be like, oh, he's facing me. You don't have to look at his dumb face.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's really smartly done. Now that I think about it, I always thought, frankly, I think Crash Bandicoot's design is a little goofy looking, but all that's so goddamn practical.
Yeah. Well, like, they wanted to kind of imitate, like, the cartoons that were coming out at the time. They wanted, like, this really... because they were kind of put on the spot to make a mascot for PlayStation.
Yeah. It wasn't Naughty Dog's job.
Yeah.
Who came and asked Naughty Dog that?
Well, they were like, we want to make this game, and PlayStation's like, okay, you go for it. And then, like, as they started developing it, like, they wanted to make, like, this game with, like, a very, like, iconic character. And they're like, well, we don't really have, like, anything to go off of because PlayStation.
Sure.
But, like, we want to compete with, like, Mario and Sonic and stuff, so we got to make a character that's, like, at that level. And so they kind of both, like, unintentionally and then had to kind of come under the onus of making this mascot for PlayStation.
Yeah, that is... I remember back when in my youth reading GamePro magazine, and they're talking about the console wars at the time. You had Mario, you had Sonic, and you had Crash Bandicoot. And it works because it's red, blue, orange too.
Yeah, true.
But that sounds like a neat article. Perhaps I'll read it later.
Like I said, I'll link it in the description.
Yeah. I think we should stop talking about it because our fans can read it.
Blew my mind, but no. But my favorite thing about it though was that like they put all this work into it.
Yeah.
And because they didn't use any textures for anything, they just used a lot of polygons that looked like they were textured by like just being like because of the way that they're rendered. Yeah. They could just pull the polygons around, like they could just stretch stuff.
Yeah.
And so like Crash had like a fully emotive face.
Yeah.
Which like allowed them to do a lot of really neat stuff in the system, and like he could like look like characters could look like they were talking really easily, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, where like there's like a lot of 3D models at the time looked stilted and kind of like robotic.
Yeah.
But they heard that there was. Yeah. Go on. What are you saying?
Oh, I wasn't the whole like beginning of Super Mario 64 that it, like you can just pull in the face like it's like a goddamn tech demo.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was because it was just I thought it was because of roughly that same technology.
Yeah. Similar, although Mario's a little bit. This is what I'm getting to. Is they were scared because Mario 64 was coming out.
Yes.
They announced it like when Crash Bandicoot was going to beta. They were like, shit.
Yeah.
They're like, damn. And like everybody was shivering because they're like, okay, there's just Mario 64 is going to kick our ass.
Yeah.
And they got to the E3 that Mario 64 was shown at, and there was like the selective, I guess collective sigh of relief.
Okay.
As they all went to Mario 64 and like, this game is shitty. They're like, Mario can't even talk or emote. Like he's just like a static wooden robot. Has like a voiceover. What is this shit?
Yeah.
And like they're like the camera control is so fucking awkward. They just rail on Mario 64 for like a few paragraphs. And it's great because like multiple people are writing like this article, this blog. So like you could tell another person's voice and they're like, yeah, and then we saw Mario 64 and I was like, piece of shit, man. And there was like one dude in the whole original dev team who was like, man, Mario 64 still scared me.
I knew it was coming. The thunder was coming.
Yeah. But off of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. How about off of Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, off of the Bandicoot. Off of the fire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been playing Legend of Five Rings, and you have more facility to talk about that, so you can if you want. But what have you been up to?
Love Legend of Five Rings. Man, let me think. I haven't done that much else, to be honest with you. I've been eating at a lot of new restaurants. I know you can't do that in your barren wasteland of
no.
the city now.
I ate pizza from a different place.
Oh man, I had a fine veal marsala for lunch. It was delightful.
I got delivery cookies from Insomniac Cookies the other day.
There's a place called Insomniac Cookies?
Yes, they are apparently a global chain, or at least United States wide. They have like a routing number and everything. It was really bizarre because I called Insomniac Cookies, and I've ordered there like maybe 4 times in my history of living here for a year. And I called up. And the guy isn't even in Ohio. The guy that I'm talking to.
Sure.
And he says,
okay.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Like apparently, if you call their headquarters, and like a guy answers, like there's like 20. It's a 24, or it stays up until like at least 3 here. But apparently, it's 24 hours in other places. And like someone will answer, and they'll take your order and then send it to the store that like it needs to be sent to. So it's like they do your online order for you, I guess, in a way.
Oh man, Kit, have you ever suspected that we're living in the future?
Dun.
Where you call a guy in India and then they bring cookies to your house at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and they're warm and fresh.
Yeah, they're
great.
warm and fresh, exactly.
Man, eventually we'll just cut out the humans, but anyway.
No, man, drones will deliver that shit. For real.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
It's gonna be awesome.
So I call the place. The craziest thing. So the guy's like, which one of your 3 addresses is this going to? And I'm like, oh, a new one. And I told him the address that I was at, and he was like, okay, are you going to use the credit card ending in, like, 5102?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, the other one. I just said the other one? And he goes, oh, the one that ends in, and then he told me my digits. And I'm like,
They have all my data.
yeah, like, this quickie delivery place has their shit on lock.
They do, man.
And then they really delicious fresh cookies.
I remember the other thing I did.
Yeah.
And it's completely germane to our anime podcast, because I watched a shit ton of anime, because I bought a membership to Crunchyroll, so I could just watch anime on my PlayStation legally on my big screen TV.
Yeah.
I've been obliging myself of... I don't know, whatever. I misused that phrase. But anyway. But yeah. So I've been watching a bunch of anime, and I have a list of other animes we can maybe watch.
Oh, nice. Cool. So those might even be potential future things. I just watched a bunch of older stuff.
Yeah.
With, like, people that came over. I watched roughly 10 episodes of Tiger and Bunny.
I love Tiger and Bunny, dude.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
I watched all of Baccano again.
Yeah, Baccano's amazing also. Shit, you asked me the other day what my top 5 favorite animes were, and like Baccano definitely should have been on there. I fucked up.
Yeah, I was asking a couple of people that because basically I was hanging out with a friend and he was like, man, he asked me, he comes to me straight with like, what's a really good entry-level anime that's actually good?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit. I had this moment where I was like, Kawaii Bebop? Have you seen Kawaii? He's like, he said no, but he didn't want to get started with it that night. He wanted something like easier to dive into.
Yeah.
But like, man, yeah, I was just, there's a moment where I was like, man, I haven't thought of like the shows that most people watch whenever they just start watching anime.
Yeah.
I was like, but a lot of people, like, those are like some of like people's favorite shows. So I was like, I'll ask a lot of people what their favorite shows are. I'll get like this collective list of things that like people that I care about. And maybe somewhere in there, like the interest will collide.
That seems like a good system to me.
Yeah. I also watched the first like 12 episodes of Akagi.
Yeah. You love your Akagi. I should watch that stuff. I haven't watched it.
Akagi's solid. Like, honestly, if you're gonna watch anything by that author, watch Kaiji. It's a lot more interesting.
Sure.
Akagi's neat. Akagi's neat because he's literally a psychopath that plays mahjong.
That is neat. You're right.
It's a whole anime of watch this psychopath play mahjong, all right? And he's like, I don't want to bet money. I want to bet our lives.
Yeah.
And he wins. It's like, but like, you know, that's that show.
I watched both seasons of Medica Box.
Yeah, that's a show that I haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't either. And I know it was like a Shonen Jump comic, and I'd never read it. And I saw it on the list, and I was like, fuck it. It can't be that bad. It ran Shonen Jump for like 100-something issues.
Right.
And then I watched it. It's also Gainax. Gainax made it.
Cool.
So it's very titties.
Well, yeah, they perfected the jiggle.
They have. Gainax was the perfect studio, because the main character of that show is just a lady with big jugs.
Reminds me of there's an episode of Space Dandy where there's a literal titty monster.
Yeah, I love the titty monster episode of Space Dandy. Yeah, Space Dandy's good. Did you see the new episode of Space Dandy?
Yes!
Yeah, I watched the new episode of Space Dandy.
Fucking all like the references to a bunch of different like universes of anime dandies.
Yeah, there was a Cobra reference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about Cobra. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, no, I was like, there's a Cobra dandy, and there's a motherfucking like there's like a Attack on Titan dandy. This is the best.
No, it was good. It was good. I'm happy for that dandy's back in my life again.
Yeah, no. I was real happy. I really love the intro song, the Viva Namida for Space Dandy. It gets me real hyped to watch the show. Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Medica Box was pretty good. I thought it was kind of stupid, but I realized at the end I was crying. I was like, God damn it. I should not have any emotional attachment to this.
Yeah.
So I actually care about this. I was like, God damn it.
That's awfully sweet.
Yeah.
I watched the first Sailor Moon Crystal.
Oh, I didn't. How was it?
It actually isn't so bad, and I actually had a couple moments where like I felt like kind of like what is it, like choked up, but like not because it was particularly emotional or anything,
but because you remember your life wasted on Japanese cartoons.
Yeah, that must be it subconsciously. No, it's just like whenever like the cat's like, you gotta transform and say this, and she's like, yeah, and she goes, I'm like, oh. There's like this like weird nostalgia emotion thing.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I just hear about new Sailor Moon stuff, and I was like, Hunter x Hunter's guy is gonna get that sweet, sweet Sailor Moon money. Because as I'm sure many of our Kawaiians know, the guy who writes Hunter x Hunter is married. It's like Togashi, something like that. Is married to the creator of Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Yeah, spectacular.
Yeah.
It's based on the Sailor Moon manga, so it's even more fast-paced and like fan fiction.
True, it's true.
Sailor Moon itself was like, if you took a 12-year-old girl who watched a bunch of anime, and you're like, now write your anime. She was like, all right, I'm doing it. Is this?
Yeah, you know, she was. I think she was his assistant on Level E. But I think that might be how they met. I forget the exact story. She was his assistant for a little while. I fucking love, dude. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. I love Level E. I love Hunter x Hunter. That guy's the fucking bomb.
Okay, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Junji Ito. I like the dude. I like
yeah, me too.
Fukumoto, who writes Akagi and Kaiji and
yeah. I got my
all the gambling stuff.
I got my boss to read Uzumaki.
Nice.
Because he was like, "There's no good horror comics." I was like, "Fucking, yeah, there is."
I have the writer for you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Here, take my weeaboo shit," and he really liked it.
Of course.
Because my boss is super into like American comics. He has a framed picture on his wall of Stan Lee with his arm around his shoulder. I know, yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, my dad's super into American comics, but that's a tell for another time.
Yeah, perhaps.
I think the only other thing of like real big note is that I'm supposed to start like playing Pathfinder sometime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Star Sky and Bush.
Yeah, so I told you this because it was too hard to keep from you for 2 weeks for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm making a character in Pathfinder who's a druid, and he has a gorilla companion. But if your companion's smart enough, they can like take whatever skills they want, and they're like relatively intelligent. And so like I took like a human like alternate thing where you can increase their stats, whatever. So my gorilla's smart enough to be a detective. He has all 5 of his skill ranks in profession detective. And my character has all of his, like, a lot of skill ranks in profession detective as well. And they're detective cop buddies. Crash Guy and Butch. Now the call seems to be having an issue. Oh no. They're fucking killing the shit out of Legend of Korra, apparently.
Oh, they fucking are, dude. Maybe we should save that for actual...
Yeah.
Our dumb conversation. And then we'll segue into that. Well, the first thing we gotta talk about is how it's actually been 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
To record the first half of this podcast.
That is true.
Yeah. In fact, you just want to start now?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Alright. So, hey, I'm sure you Kawaiians at home are very confused about...
You're sticking to
about why we suddenly cut out in the middle of Kit talking about Star Sky and Butch. It's because all of Cox Cable Internet shut down in fucking Louisiana that night that we were recording.
We've been having real trouble trying to get like the second podcast off the ground with like computer trouble and like Cox outages.
Yeah, it's true. And then us just being the laziest bastards.
Yeah.
Collectively. Yeah. I'm gonna mostly blame you, but I'm not blameless either.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I tried sometimes, but then other times I just, I slept all day.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
Like there's
I had, like,
a moment
job,
where
working on research. You ain't got no excuse, kid.
No, I don't.
When I'm ready to record a podcast, it should be podcast recording time.
Yeah, I had a backward sleep schedule and at one point.
Do you charge per hour?
Fucking for what?
For life.
Oh,
I
man.
have a master's of science.
So you charge?
So it's around like $30 an hour. My time is worth.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I feel like you owe me money.
I mean, that's almost certainly true.
Yeah, I think you actually just owe me money in the normal sense too, probably.
I mean, almost absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta check our running debit. But anyways, yeah, but we're back, and we're gonna talk about the anime we watched 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think
that's...
What was that one called?
That's the plan.
What was it called? Shit. No Game No Life. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Kawaii shit in it. And
yeah.
I kinda enjoyed it, if I recall.
Oh, God.
Back to the Veils of Time.
If you can look through the pensieve and glimpse at a history beyond us all.
It's true. But yeah.
Way back in the 90s. Anyway. No. So I thought it was solid. I didn't like that the current anime arc that we watched just kind of ended.
Yeah. It has a nice little cliffhanger ending there that I feel like. So yeah. I mean, let's just talk. We were going to talk about briefly how Legend of Korra is killing it.
Oh yeah. Apparently they're just
just knocking out the park. I've been watching that shit.
Sputtering out.
Yeah, I was really worried about Legend of Korra. Maybe we should just do a Legend of Korra episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Fuck it. Yeah, well, let's not talk about Legend of Korra right now. I wanted to, and I got real excited about it, and I realized, fuck, we should just do an episode on Legend of Korra.
Yeah, we could spend an hour talking about how fucking quiet that is.
Yeah, man, that's just super cool. Anyways, so yeah, let's actually talk about the anime we're here to review. In the world's longest anime review, 4 week long.
You've given me some time to contemplate it.
Yeah. We really were able to look inward and understand the game in ourselves. Anyway.
I just know I have no life. Like every time they had a screen of main character.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess so. No, I played Risk of Rain for 12 hours straight once in this last few weeks. It was insane. But yeah, no, every time they had a screen of the main character, like playing Vigi games, I was like, oh no, that's me. But he was doing really well, so I was like, oh no, that's not me.
That's me at all.
And then like he had companionship, and I was like, that's not me at all.
I like to think we are dear companions.
Oh, certainly.
Just very distanced apart, and we talk to each other like every few days.
Yeah, I don't consider you my like lolly fucking sister, but not blood related. Whatever the fuck.
Is it okay to be hurt by that? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the pandering.
Oh, the pandering. Okay. So I'm gonna eventually get to talking about the things I like about it, and the ways I feel it succeeded, and the ways I feel it did not make good on some of its promise. But first of all, let's talk about these titties.
I was talking about the literal ring around the pandas, like the panda ring.
The panda ring?
But if you want to, like the smuggling operation.
Yeah.
Happen.
Okay. It's a terrible joke, and I'm glad we made it. All right. But yeah, so this show has an adorable lolly girl who is, I think, minimally sexualized in the way that almost all lolly characters are at least minimally sexualized.
Yeah.
And also just jiggling boobies. Just from, like, every single character, besides main character and lolly chick pretty much, and then tertiary lolly chick, is just jiggling boobies. Huh?
Yeah, there was really like a slider of like either you're the lolly girl, get occasional pantsuit shots.
Yeah.
Or your tits are just like abound in a flurry.
Yeah. And, you know, I am going to say right now, I'm not taking an ethical stance on this, but my own sexuality makes me feel uncomfortable, so this is not for me.
I liked how like they always had to have some kind of like write-off or an excuse for it.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you're gonna be my dog for the afternoon. And you gotta like shame yourself, which is like somehow writes off all the ridiculous shit. You know, like it's like we could tell this plot that's really interesting about this game world, but throw in some more tits.
You gotta get them tits in, and some like, man, under that apron there's a vagina. I bet they gotta make you think that. You know?
I love how there's like the moment where the main character's like gotta conquer the animal girl kingdom because the animal girls.
Yeah, that's just legit his his motivation. Yeah, no, I didn't expect this to be a harem, but there it is. It's a goddamn harem.
Really isn't every show really a harem?
If you're bisexual.
Like Cowboy Bebop's really about like a ship that gets a lot of different passengers.
Yeah. You know what? You're right.
Ping pong was really just about the game of ping pong, enjoying a lot of different players. I can make it a stretch.
Listen, that's your English degree at work. And that's why we need your skills on this show.
Sure.
But okay,
Yeah,
I don't know. All the tits made me feel weird, and I always find that stuff awkward. Like, I hate going to Hooters. Like, fuck Hooters.
Yeah,
weird.
No, I think everyone does. I gotta wonder like if there's like some Japanese kid who's just like, I love that show with the titties.
I guarantee you there is. I guarantee you there's someone out there who is just not, doesn't feel shame, hasn't learned shame yet, and like they haven't learned to hate themselves, and they love it. They just eat it up. They're like, yeah, boobs. I just need to be getting more of this in my life.
I do have a friend that really enjoys ecchi shows like this, and so it was really hilarious because he recommended that I watch this show before you ever talked to me about it.
Was it James?
No, it wasn't James.
Thank
It wasn't
God.
James. It was a guy up here in Ohio.
Oh, all right.
And so I always know what anime to recommend to him because I just think like, what's some of the etchiest shit? I'm like, have you read Prison School yet?
Sure. What was that? What's that one that Pat liked, but he felt guilty for? It was High School DX.
Yeah, like DxD maybe?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know, but which I actually kind of intend to watch because I kind of trust Pat's taste and stuff, but I don't know. I'm putting it off because I don't know.
Pat's a wonderful person because he's very simple in his desires. Like, Pat, do you like guys with fucking big cool guns? And he's like, fuck yeah. Like, that's all you have to do to sell them on something.
It's true. There's an elegance to it, really.
Yeah. It's real nice because, like, I could talk to Pat about, like, very simple parts of being a human being.
Yeah.
I'm like, Pat, I just want to slap some tits. That's like, I'm on the page with you, man. And like he isn't like, isn't this like a deeper rooted thing? Like, none of that bullshit.
Yeah. Are you talking about me? Is this like a weird backhanded way to be like, Max,
this might be backhanded at everybody, right? Yeah. Every human being that isn't Pat.
It's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta wonder, like the kind of person who like who's like my top 5 shows are the ecchi ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel it's just it really speaks to my internal insecurities. Maybe that I can't enjoy it. That the first place my mind goes is like, this is so far beyond my it's like my real experience of life. I could never imagine girls being attracted to me in this way, but also it seems unrealistic and like pernicious. I don't know. The reason why it makes me feel uncomfortable is probably my own fucked up stuff. But also it's kind of just boring, right? In some ways too, right?
No, it's just titties.
Yeah, like wouldn't it be great if like the scenes that were spent just being like excuses to jiggle titties at people were spent on something else, like talking about the rules of a new exciting game or developing a character.
Yeah, I thought the whole Shiratori game they played was really cool.
What's the Shiratori? Is that the word game?
Yeah, it was the word game, and like at the one point where it does devolve into like nudity without censorship, is all like a diversion to convince the chick that like he wasn't setting up for this elaborate fucking play.
Yeah. So let's talk about this for a sec. I mean, because this is really the core of the show for me, and the reason why I like it is there's this promise in the show that there's going to be these games, and they're going to be very elaborate and weird, and they're going to have bizarre and interesting solutions, right? That's the setup to the show. I think the very first game they play, which is the chess, the chess with living people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like before that, you're like rock paper scissors.
That's rock paper scissors. I think the rock paper scissors game was good, with where you can only play paper.
Yeah, you can only play paper, and like if you play anything else, it will only ever count as a draw.
Yeah. Nah, I think that's real interesting. And then the real game was in setting up the rules, and I thought that was great. That was wonderful. It gave me, it was like, oh man, that's really interesting, and engaged me. It made me feel like the character was intelligent, also, right? That's a smartly written character. That's not a comic book character who's really smart, so he builds a death ray. That's a character,
Yeah.
It's a character doing something interesting and well thought out. And I like that, and I wanted the whole show to be that, right? Mm-hmm. My favorite genre, as you may know, is smart guys thinking at each other, and then lots of internal monologue.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I like Death Note, I guess, and I like Hunter x Hunter a lot.
Yeah, I like a lot of Fukumoto stuff.
Yeah.
I started reading the new Fukumoto manga, and like literally the first 2 chapters is some dudes thinking at each other.
Man, all right, what's that?
This one is Baraiden Guy. But yeah, no, it reminded me a lot of actually the Fukumoto manga. What is it? Gambling Emperor Zero.
Oh yeah, you told me to read Gambling Emperor Zero. I forgot about it.
I will link the Batoto or whatever. I'll put a link for that in the video as well. But essentially, a similar plot where the main character kind of enters like a weird kind of like he's still in our real world, but he enters like this kind of like strange underworld of gambling.
Yeah.
In which and like in No Game No Life, it's literally just another world of gambling.
Yeah.
So the rules can be upheld 100% by like magic.
Yes.
Whereas in this, the rules were upheld 100% just because everything's run by a crazy old dude with like a lot of money.
And he knows guys with guns.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to do all the gambles, and if like the price you have to pay is losing your arm, you're gonna.
Yeah.
So like, and essentially it's the same premise. It's just ridiculous fucking games, and if you win, you get insane prizes, but losing could cost you anything up to your life. And of course, the main character is a similar thing, where the main character is a real genius. And so the fun of the thing isn't so much, like this elaborate, interesting gamble, which is already a kind of cool part, but like seeing how the main character succeeds in all these different scenarios.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that could be the strength of the show. Also, the setting itself, where there is magic, so you can set up some truly ridiculous games, is really strong. But I feel like sometimes it succeeded, and it followed through on that promise, and other times it did not. I feel like the rock paper scissors game, not using the setting at all, very interesting game, well played out, I think. The chess match after that, though, it's against the elf, elf pawn, or whatever. That was terrible.
Oh, you didn't like that one?
I hated that. I mean, I at the end of it, I knew what they were going to get at. They were getting at. So it was like, we're from a world that actually has wars. So I used my knowledge of like how those politics actually play out to win the game.
Right.
But it was just stupid. It was fucking dumb. It was all hand wavy.
It was pretty ridiculous. I like that. Like at one point, it changed from a chess match to like real time strategy or some shit.
Yeah, I guess. And it also didn't make sense to me. How are the judges of that game not realizing there's fucking cheating going on? There's like pieces changing sides and like magical glowing bullshit. That's clearly magic, right? That's not like some like tricky underhanded thing, like changing the face of the cards.
That's crap. Like that's just like straight not chess.
That's just not chess.
But I guess the game they agreed to wasn't definitively chess.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
The rules of the game probably also didn't include like the ability to randomly change just your pieces, right?
yeah. It was.
It's crap. It's bullshit.
It's cool if you're engaging it in the first level. But you think about it a little bit deeper, you're like, this is fucking silly.
It's stupid. It was stupid. And after I got my hopes up so high from the initial game of rock paper scissors, which is a weird thing to say. I was super stoked on this after they played rock paper scissors in that one episode.
So like Kaiji, another Fukumoto.
Yeah, like Kaiji. Yeah, I feel like whoever wrote the original manga for this probably just really liked Kaiji and breasts, and he's just like, I think I can do this.
Real fucking inspired.
Yeah.
But no, I thought at the very least, whenever they did have those gambling segments, they kept it very high energy. And there was enough turnarounds in it that I was like, okay, something interesting's happening, and I was always kind of expecting what the next twist, I guess, would be.
Yeah.
And that way it had the kind of same frenetic energy like Code Geass had,
Yeah,
where it was like, I accepted that stupid shit would happen. That was just dumb.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like a lot of things actually do make sense in universe. That I feel like that stuff like that really stands out to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess it's possible not to be consumed by over-analysis of that chess game and enjoy it. But it just felt weird. Like that one part where he essentially seduces the opponent's queen. And it's just fucking, what is this? This is not a thing.
He has rally the morale of his troops by giving a speech on
by promising them
why.
lucre and women, right?
Yeah.
This raises a lot of questions about what those troops actually are, and if they just died at the end. Right? I don't know. Anyways, I'm done talking about that chess game.
Yeah.
I didn't like the chess game.
So Well, I like I said, I enjoyed it, but I was watching it on the very first level.
Yeah.
I think I watched the first half of the series, like half kind of conscious with like a friend.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, hey, I need to watch this series. You want to laugh at this shit? and then I was like, oh, this is amusing. And then I watched the second half of the series on my own, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But really divides down after the chess game.
Well, there's the chess game. There is the word game, which I liked a lot.
Yeah, I love the word game. That was probably my favorite part.
There was the game of Othello, where when certain things were like when certain pieces were flipped over, you like took something like magically from the opponent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that part.
Yeah, I thought so. I have problems with that part of it, but I also kind of thought that was weird and interesting. And then
but it was neat way to do what they wanted to do. It's just the execution made me like I was twirling my hand a bunch.
And then there was the video game,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the word game just real quick. I thought it was really great. It was what were the rules exactly? It was you had to use whatever was the name of the game?
It's like I think Shiratori. So you have to use the whatever the last word ended in. You have to use that as the beginning of your next word or whatever.
Yeah, but with the additional magical rule that anything you said appeared, and if it was already there, it disappeared.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
And if you died, then you lost, but you didn't actually die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost feel like that wasn't explained.
Well, I mean, like it was real glossed real early.
Yeah.
Was like, well, if either of us dies, well, then it'll count as a loss. But like, because of the magical room that we're in, we won't actually die. It's just like a virtual space.
Yeah, I thought stakes were way higher.
Yeah.
until it was like, oh, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that game was super neat. I felt like the conclusion to it was super neat. Them using their real world knowledge against an opponent who doesn't have that real world knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually made sense. It was
yeah.
It was like we used our knowledge of chemistry to win this fight, whereas our opponent didn't know shit about that.
Actually, remind me a bit of Adventure Time video skit on this, but where like the strong divided up the land and like made the rules.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting that he had.
Now.
Yeah, this is what's right when it's wrong. I love that. But it was
I noticed
interesting.
that they completely glossed over the French Revolution.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed, I guess, that kind of aspect of the main character being like, humanity a shit, but we can think and work real hard and maybe overcome all these other motherfuckers.
And also we can be tricky little bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy had a real good Bane speech where he is like, "You've only adopted the darkness."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is good. I think those points are really strong. I think a lot of the philosophy in the show is superficial, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. It just comes off as kind of cool and fun, right?
Yeah.
His "I Heart Humanity" T-shirt or Imanity.
Yeah, it was just kind of strange that they had the jumps between humanity and humanity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing, I guess.
Yeah. What was I saying? What else? So that game was cool. I thought it was real neat. I thought its conclusion was satisfying. I felt smart for understanding it, and I was able to sit there and think to myself, oh, how would I play this game, right?
Right.
Which I could not do with the dumb chess game.
Or really the video game.
Or really the video game, yeah. I'm more forgiving of the video game, but not entirely. That shit was... Anyways, let's talk about the Othello game. Why didn't you like that?
I just felt like I said, like, it dragged on for a long bit. Like,
Mhm.
after I kind of got what they were trying to do with it, which was, you know, plot,
Yeah.
which already felt a bit extraneous.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, you don't really... All right.
Yeah, I
And then,
mean,
like,
it did. It slowed down the show a little bit because the next big thing was against the Beast People, right? And then I was
yeah,
like, now we got to do all this other shit that
yeah,
we haven't been building up to this for 5 episodes, you know?
exactly. And then I was like, oh man, the little sister is going to have to save him with her love. Like,
Well, it's not with her love; it's with her like trust and intelligence,
yeah,
her
but, you know,
ability to
fucking...
yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
okay.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's her love.
Some fucking disappearance of Haruhi shit going on
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I can hear it.
it is. It's exactly that. But here is what I didn't like about it. So one of the early gags in the show, like second episode gags, is they get separated from each other, and then they have like a complete mental breakdown instantaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when fucking protagonist Mick, normal guy, disappears, she doesn't have like a crazy breakdown, right? And that's like almost the only characterization the sister had, right? She's like real smart, she's stoic, and she breaks the fuck down when the brother's not around, and he breaks the fuck down when she's not around.
Yeah.
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 And then she didn't break the fuck down. And that was inconsistent. And it made me, I was like, well, wait, shouldn't she not even be functioning right now? What? I don't know.
Because she knew in her heart of hearts he was really there all along.
Maybe. But she left the room. She, like, walked around and shit.
Well, you weren't supposed to remember that shit, I guess.
I guess.
Dude, fucking, because otherwise the show doesn't work.
The show does work. You just don't write the story that way. You just take out the dumb gag where they freak out immediately when they're separated. I mean, I like that aspect of their character, actually, to the extent that it actually exists or not. It's like fucking some kind of superimposition of a character trait.
Yeah.
Of not being a character trait and actually being one. But it's, it's that, like, they're, like, super ridiculously, they're great. They're fucking minor superheroes together. Mm-hmm. But they have, like, a weakness, and it's like, if they're apart, they're just fucking, they're messes. They're anxious. They can't deal with anything. They're crap all of a sudden. They have a kryptonite. Right. Which they immediately go about breaking.
I was really waiting for that to actually come into play for a long time, and then because it didn't, I just gave up on that thread.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, surely one of these enemy countries will realize that Zero is two people, and will or whatever the fuck their name. Blank.
Zero's Kogaya's, dude.
God damn it, I'm blurring all these lines. They'll realize that Akagi is two people. But blank, they'll realize that, like, they just split them up.
Yeah.
But, like, that didn't happen, and I guess because the show didn't cover the entire plot of entirety.
I think it's getting another season.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's getting another season, actually. I think I read that somewhere.
Okay. I mean, I imagine it's based off of something that's ongoing.
Yeah, it's based off an ongoing manga. I looked up online.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my primary issue, and this is, I guess, the issue that I have with a lot of like plots that are set up in a similar way, is at some point you have to kind of buy in that the main character is eventually going to win every fucking battle.
Yeah.
There's going to be, like, some upsets, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be interesting to follow.
Yeah.
So the second they're like, here's the 16 billion races.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe 16. There's 16 right now.
There's 16 races, yes.
Yeah, I was like, he's going to win the fucking pieces from all of them.
Well, I gotta imagine, like, I don't know. There's ways to structure that story so you skip a lot of seeing that, right?
Yeah.
You just need to set up the big victories. And then...
But yeah, there's this moment of, like, realization where I was like, I'm just gonna have to watch this motherfucker beat everybody. and, like, I don't know, like, if it's that interesting for me to follow all the way up to Tet, where maybe he wins and then I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's certainly a way to make that story work and to be good for me, but it's true. It feels like this is going to be a uphill fight to watch in some ways.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you know, like that's just, it's the same thing in, like, Shonen or anything, where you establish, like, here's the evil organization with all these bad guys. I'm like, it's trying to watch fucking dude fight them all.
Yeah, you say as you love Bleach.
Yes. Because at least in Bleach, you know, like, I can enjoy, like, really, really in-depth things that aren't there. Like, I can have something that feels headcanon as fuck, and then it gets confirmed in a panel, and I'm like, yeah. I knew by looking at the 6 fucking lines on this guy's sword that he would be the 6th character introduced.
Fuck your 4th level shit, Kit.
But, you know, like, no, it's always like a deep sigh of breathe whenever I guess I recognize those kind of plot structures.
Yeah. No, it's true. I do feel like that could be a weakness of this show continuing forward, or the manga continuing forward. It's just grinding down to a halt.
But yeah, I don't know, a couple animation things. I thought it was interesting they went with, like, the style where outlines are done in red.
Yeah, I thought that looked gorgeous, actually.
Yeah, it adds a lot of color. It kind of made the other world look otherworldly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. It did. I thought the art was really pretty and colorful and interesting to look at.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, show that you're a big fan of, you're gonna have to fucking finish the Tiger and Bunny.
Tiger and Bunny, I love Tiger and Bunny.
Does the same thing.
Yes, they do, actually.
So I don't know if it's the same guy doing the art, or like the same studio, or what.
I should have done research in these intermitting weeks, but you know. Well, I want to be the guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the one everyone likes, and you're my sidekick. I want to be Ebert, and you get to be Siskel. I'll win the Pulitzer, and you'll die first.
You know, like from here on out, whenever anybody asks me, where do you see yourself in 10 years, I just want to, like, answer the, like, question with dead. Like, you know, it's going to be dark as fuck, but whenever I do die in, like, 10 years of answering one of those questions, everybody will be like, he said it.
Yeah, he's going to be dead
fucking
10 years.
Call that shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I understand, you know, you should do your fucking research.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was animated well. You know, there were some scenes where it really shined, other ones where characters just kind of fucking sat around.
Yeah. You know, money.
Yeah, typical shit.
But no, I think that I like the color palette choices, like lots of pastels, lots of interesting character designs, I think. Stupid irises abound.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
I felt like the intro to the show spoiled way too fucking much.
Yeah, weirdly, right? That was,
yeah. Because I watched the intro and I was just like, alright, so they already become humanity's kings, so that's like the first, like, fucking 8 episodes. Yeah. Like, there's all these other fucking characters they're hanging out with, so I guess they become friends with them.
Probably.
Like, I don't know, man. Typically shonen shows I find will do that shit a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of shows that follow like a really long running thing will, because it's kind of like, oh, you guys that read this shit, look at this intro.
Yeah, that's true.
Which actually,
I don't think No Game No Life has been running that long. I think it's just 2013 that started.
Captivating.
Yeah.
No, but I do like whenever intros can like slip interesting stuff in, like Baccano's had like one of the characters that you didn't know was a character for a while was actually in the intro.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And then, like, you know, there's all these other fucking characters they're hanging out with, so I guess they become friends with them. Probably.
Yeah.
Bleaches, I think, like all Bleaches have had, yeah, come back to Bleaches. All the Bleaches intros actually, feature a lot of, like, the more popular, like, cover, like, panel arts, I guess.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
Which is really neat. Just shit like that, like really cool, like, kind of, like, callbacks or things like if you know stuff, like, it's not going to be a spoiler, but, like, it's really interesting if you're way too deep into it.
Yeah, listen, I understand. That's cool. I agree. It ruined some stuff, damaged the suspense in the show in some points. Could have been handled better.
Yeah, they should have just done it like Kill la Kills and just added more as it went on.
Yeah, I think that's such a good way to do it. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. Let's just talk about the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked. There's not really that much to say about the Othello game. I kind of liked it. I felt like the story ended up leaning on a crux of the characters that I didn't want to see bend.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of disappointed me. I thought it was kind of a cool idea. I thought it was very Code Geass and, like, plot twisty, you know?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what, like, at that point in the show, I was just like, I'm just going to sit back and watch every goddamn twist unfurl.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that last game. Let's talk about the Vidya game. And first of all, it's it's a titty game.
Well, yeah, it's a titty game.
It's a titty game. It's a titty shooter. It's a dating sim shooter.
I like that the Beastmen have video games and that they are dating sim titty shooters. And that, like, they, like, forbid knowledge of other games.
Yeah, that's their horrible secret. It's really the same show as My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, if you think about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't read that on the 4th level.
Yeah, it's all right. We can't all be winners. But yeah, okay, that's stupid as shit. It's the dumbest. It's the dumbest shit.
It is dumb.
The guns shoot off clothes, and it's just fan service. So the game design, I think, is already fucked.
A+.
So I'm getting no fun out of the game design.
Okay.
I
have a few game players who would disagree.
Sure. There are some things I liked about it, though. The how is it, like the animal people? How do they read minds and stuff like that? It's just that they're detecting your heartbeat. And I think was the implication that the old man was screen looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then whispering like player locations.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, I like that. Because I used to do that shit in Halo 1. Yeah.
Oh, you
I was a filthy screen looker. I don't care now. People can know.
I played real games like Counter-Strike.
That's fair.
Like Quake Arena.
Yeah. Quake's too twitchy. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I like those parts of it. But the climax... One good thing I like about the climax, I like the dumb magic rules, and how it was all based around how agreements from these games are essentially magically enforced.
Yeah.
And they, they use that as like a core part of the plan by ensuring that the dumb bimbo did everything exactly right, surprising everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I really like the turnabout in that because they stop convincing you that you're in a game. I guess that they're like playing a video game long enough. I feel for the twist to be like, hey, we're in a video game. We exploit all this AI.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that the AI. I mean, we don't need to explain the game to people, I guess.
But
yeah, there are these AI characters. I don't know.
They fucking exploit the AI.
Yeah, they exploit the AI. They figured out the girl's so smart. She figured out the walk patterns and shit.
Yeah.
And just got everything down, like, with weird, like, Machiavellian Sherlock Holmes level detail. And, made the girl execute it via magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's cool. But it's stupid and impossible, right?
Whatever, man. This is the same show that, like, wacky beast powers activate and fucking...
That's not what wacky beast powers activating. It's just when the characters are smart. You need to...
Like, this,
you need to, like,
this
be
character's
complicit.
genius.
You need to be complicit in that genius, right? That is the smart guy building a laser gun because he's so smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not him doing smart things. That's my point.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and that's why in that way I think it's failed. It had some clever gimmicks. I liked it, but the actual execution of it I thought was absurd. And it turned out.
So is that the whole show actually?
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. That's it. It could be better. I enjoyed the show. It could be a lot better than it was.
Oh man, I had this one moment where I was like, I hope this isn't like Excel World. It's like they're dumped into a really colorful fantasy realm. I'm like, please don't be Excel World. And they're nerds. I'm like, please don't be Excel World.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God.
Yeah. That's one point in his favor already. It's not like almost every anime is not Excel World if you think about it. They're pretty good.
It makes me real happy.
They're pretty good, right?
Yeah. Fucking just made enemies of all two of the Excel World fans.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only Excel World fans are just too big of fans of Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Which is not very good either. But
oh man, it got a second season. I heard,
it did, and they're guns now.
Huh.
Yeah, I like any direction that gives guns. I like guns. They're cool. But I also am not going to watch it, probably. Unless you make me for this shit.
Well, Attack on Titan has guns now.
Does it?
Fucking spoiler alert.
Oh, man. Well, I'm also not going to watch that.
There's a whole fucking chapter where fucking no one hit a Titan. There were no Titans. They were just dudes with guns. I was like, whoa, what am I reading?
That sounds like an interesting change of pace.
But yeah,
yeah.
Fucking final thoughts on No Game, No Life.
Yeah. Final thoughts for me is that I liked it. It was alright. I feel like it tried to do some stuff. It also tried to do some very stupid shit and pandery shit, which I forgive it for. At the end of the day, I just enjoyed it, even though it could have been better. It had more promise than was fulfilled. But I don't know. I can't begrudge it. They're gotta get paid. Gotta make those cash monies. You know?
Gotta roll the bill.
Yeah, gotta get paid. Anyway, yeah. So that's my review is gotta get paid. Gotta get paid out of 5. You. What's yours?
Yeah. So since I've read so many things that have done this but better.
Yeah.
I can't really. I don't know. It's like it's hard to give it its fucking quarter that it's due.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I don't know.
it's
really.
You don't have to agree with me. Siskel and Ebert hate each other. You know? Yeah.
Oh no, but I love you.
Yeah, it's true. We can't have the same like vicious tete-a-tete. Like it's not even vicious. It's like the weird like passive aggressive arguments that they had, which is unfortunate in some ways. But I feel like we have our own dynamic. But continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, you can be tsundere. I'll be happy with that.
Sure.
But no, I felt like, yeah, like, there's a lot of other stuff that's written better, so...
Yeah.
As far as the gambles went, like, there were a lot of times where I was just like, okay, let's fucking see where this game goes.
Yeah.
I feel like engaging with it, like, if, like, for, like, something I could just fucking shut off and watch...
Yeah.
It really filled that kind of niche, I suppose. But there's like a fuck ton of shows that do that.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm gonna call it like the the entry tier Gambling Emperor Zero. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, cause you know, I can make some of my friends watch No Game No Life, and like, they just have their fucking feet in the water of the weeaboo shores, and they're like, oh, this is kind of funny, and that's cool game. But like, if I gave them like Gambling Emperor Zero to read, they'd be like, why are these characters so ugly?
So are you telling me that you give it a Code Geass out of Gambler Emperor Zero?
Yeah, I think so. I believe that is exactly my rating. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fucking, I might even call it poor man's Gaius. There's no fucking mechs so far.
Yes. Alright, well yeah, I think that's a good review. No mechs so far. I think our agreed upon review is, I think our agreed upon review is a Code Geass out of Gambler Emperor Zero.
I don't know, it could always surprise me, like, fucking, what is it? Shaman King.
Maybe. We'll see.
Where I was like, Shaman King's not a mecha show.
We'll see. We'll see. You know what? Good night, everybody. I'm calling it.
All right. See you next week?